Hey, Cliff.
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. Now, before we get into this event, this Juneteenth event, tell us a little bit about Covenant House and what
All
you
right,
do
thank you.
there.
All right, so Covenant House, Greater Washington. We're located in Southeast 2001 Mississippi Avenue. We work with young folks, primarily 18 to 24 years old, who are experiencing homelessness. We work with returning citizens as well, folks who have aged out of the foster care system. And we work with those young people to help them stabilize their lives, right? And what does that look like? They need housing, they need employment, they need educational opportunities. So we work with those young folks to help them stabilize their lives and to uh, find themselves, help them get out of their just challenging situation that they're in right now. So
I want to ask because I know we're talking about Juneteenth, but I am curious and concerned also. How did the young people that you work with get through this COVID pandemic? How did it impact them? And did you all have to do anything different in your programming to address some of the things that they may have experienced?
I appreciate you asking that question. Yes, so COVID has dramatically changed a lot of things, how we do services. The first thing is we want to make sure all the young people are safe. So we wanted to make sure that people had the opportunity to get tested, first of all. So we had testing at our site in the parking lot monthly. And then we wanted to make sure that they have the opportunity, if they choose, to be able to get the vaccine as well. So that's the first thing. Now, programming didn't stop because homelessness didn't stop. So we provided food. We wanted to make sure that people had the protective gear, masks, gloves. We wanted to do that, but also to get the information out. So we partnered with Howard University to make sure that people were informed and up to date about COVID. And then programming, we went from Zoom. We made sure people had computers, phones, so they can communicate. You can't communicate in COVID without this technology, so we have to put it in their hands.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, that's good news, and to know that. I mean, did you find that more young people were knocking on your door because of COVID? You know, because we know there's been a lot of, issues of, just within homes, abuse, different things that happened. Did it create a greater demand for your services?
Well, the demand is always there. We always could use more beds. Remember, we're trying to have a permanent situation. So we do have what we call emergency shelter. Folks are allowed to come to the shelter from 7 to 7. They can get a hot meal, they get their clothes washed, and then they can talk to case management. And so those numbers are going to fluctuate as people are kind of moving. Now that the movement is picked up, I would suspect that we're going to see more people reaching out for services, but also too in a greater need, because we help the whole region. We don't just say DC residents. If someone crosses that border from Maryland or Virginia and they're in need of services, we want to help them.
Wonderful, fantastic. So you're going to host a Juneteenth event tomorrow.
Yes.
Tell us about it.
All right, so this came about our Juneteenth Black Paradigm, small businesses. We had some volunteers, some Black men who wanted to, they couldn't get involved with COVID come down. So what they wanted to do is they wanted to set up an event so they can bring small businesses together. In particular, they wanted to focus on technology, entrepreneurship, education, but also to networking. And they wanted these business owners to come together for the cause of helping the young people that we serve. And then this idea just kind of grew. So now it's going to be a big event. We're doing a lot of things on that day tomorrow. We're going to have vaccines inside of Covenant House. We'll have testing outside as well. We'll have the small businesses there for people to network, and we're going to, introduce some components around employment to help people gain access to employment and resources. So we're really excited, and this will be the first annual one.
All right. Okay. Now we're going to start a whole new tradition here in DC.
That's right.
Not that we haven't celebrated Juneteenth. My daddy was a Texan, so
Okay.
he appreciated the day. But it's good to see that so many more people now are involved and creating events. But this event, it's not only just a celebration, but it sounds like you're providing a lot of services for people that need them.
Yes, I'm so happy that you gave us this platform, the Informer, because as many as your guests are going to talk about, there's a ton of events going on this day. So when you get the opportunity, just stop by the other events that are going on, because we want to make sure that there's enough people to serve and enough people need the information. Like I said, we're going to be talking to folks about workforce. We're going to be helping people network, and this will be one of many events. So we'll have a Poet Fest coming up in July as well, and so we're just excited to get people kind of networking, get them together, talk about the resources, but also the history and what Juneteenth means to not only people who are from DC, but people who are outside of DC as well.
Right. When did you first learn about Juneteenth?
Well, I'm originally from Houston, so
All right. Okay.
Juneteenth has been a big celebration. Depending on where you live is how they celebrate it, right? And what they do. So it involves food, it involves education, it involves storytelling, the history, and then moving forward. What are we planning to move forward? This Juneteenth, I'm excited that awareness is happening, but also too, I want some action and some policy behind some things and some opportunities. So I'm excited.
Yeah, it sounds like it. On the one hand, I think back about, when they talked about New Year's Eve and watch night, and how when folks knew about the passage of the Emancipation Proclamation and they knew that they would be freed the 1st of January, they said, Black folks stayed up all night because they wanted to see freedom come. But it took a while for Texans to do that. But still, it's that kind of a celebration. Today we are free, for whatever that means. Right. But also it's a celebration. So it sounds like we're going to have, back in the day, as kids, younger folks, you go to the house parties, you go here, you go there. So it sounds like that's what you're saying too. Go to all of them, but make sure you stop by this address. Right.
Yes. I mean, let's, this is a great time. All the events that's going on. There's an event going on in Anacostia Park, right? Stop by. Southeast is a vast area, and there's a lot of folks who could use services. And depending on your geographic location, you might be able to come to Covenant House 2001 Mississippi. You might be able to get over to Martha's Table if you're in that area, or Greater Southeast. So look at it as an opportunity to go and see what's in the community, see what's available. There's a lot of programming going on at Covenant House for the young kids. There's STEM. STEM is important. We want to make sure that our young people are on the cutting edge, dealing with innovative ways to deal with technology and to be a part of that. So stop by. It's a big house party that's going to start. We'll kick off at 10 o'clock sharp in Southeast. I hope to see a lot of folks there.
All right, Cliff, thank you so very much for joining us. And hopefully I'll get a chance to get by tomorrow as well and see you in person.
I look forward to it, Denise. Thank you so much.
All right, have a great one.
Okay.